Good evening, everybody! Welcome to round 14 of International Sim Racing Organization's 1991 F1 Series, today coming to you from Lisbon in Portugal. Cars are finishing up their qualifying session, a very familiar name at the top, we'll get to that later. I don't have anyone in the booth with me just yet, but that's quite fine. That's quite all right, because we've got plenty of stuff to go through. I'm sure that Alberto is on his way. He'll be with us in a moment. But want to welcome everybody who's watching the race on YouTube. This is going to be a very interesting day. We could potentially see the championship wrapped up today, because if we look at the drivers' points, Pascal Mikola has 60, Dave Miller 38, David Jakes 31, Richard Coxon, 28, despite the fact he's left the series, and Brian Janik has 27. The only people who are capable of winning the championship at this point are Mikola, Miller, and Jakes, in terms of mathematics. Now, we'll get more to the mathematics side later, but for all intents and purposes, the biggest enemy to Dave Miller and David Jakes challenging for the championship is not even really Pascal Mikola at this point. Their main enemy is time, because today is actually, I believe, I misspoke. Today is round 13 of the championship. So there are 14, 15, and 16 to go after this. And that's going to be a critical situation. We'll see if the championship will be crowned today. We have a little graph that we're going to put together. Not a graph, but a chart that shows what would happen if the race would end right now. And we'll be updating that as we go, so it'll give us a picture of what's happening. Because if there is, in fact, a champion crowned today, we don't want to miss it. So there's that to keep track of. And car points. Car points. Braun Tyrrell Honda has 62 points. Scuderia Italia has 48. Minardi 44. Motor Racing Developments 41. And Cannon Williams team has 38. So that is a bit more of a challenge to see who is going to win the Constructors' Championship. But looking back at the driver points, clearly this is a situation where if Miller and Jakes want to challenge, the time is now. Because with this being round 13, the next rounds are Spain, Japan, and Australia. And those each, the maximum you can score there are 30 points for those 3 rounds. So, and there's 10 points to play for today. So clearly the championship is still up for grabs, but that window of opportunity is closing fast. So it looked as if at the end of the qualifying session, Mikola was on the pole once again, which is not a huge revelation, but out of the corner of my eye, I did see that Jakes and Miller were very close, and I believe Nilsson was second. So we'll verify that once we go to the race session itself and go through the actual qualifying order. But right now, there's about 28 minutes to go in the warm-up session, and the cars are obviously out there now in full tanks, getting things set to go. Because as we've said many times, the cars handle very differently with full tanks than they do when they are on empty tanks, or nearly empty tanks, which is what they typically use in qualifying. Right now we're watching the Ferrari of Mike Olsen, the 643. We've mentioned over and over again that Ferrari's had a dismal year, but Olsen almost had a points-paying finish at Italy. So I think there's a very good chance that Mike could do well here. We'll have to keep a close eye on him. All right, so here is the graphic I was telling you about. Drivers' Championship if the race ended now. Appropriately, there's an abacus in the background because this is going to be this is going to take some. It's going to be interesting. Pascal Michael, obviously 60 points, and that little crown there. He's definitely on point to get the championship, but you know what I'm going to do? Hang on one moment. I'm going to take that crown off the graphic because he is not crowned championship yet. The champion yet, and we have a ways to go. I was just making sure I had that in place. All right, so let's look at that one more time. There we go. So we've got the points for the top 5 there. And again, the top 3 drivers there, Mikola, Miller, and Jakes, are really in a position, well, maybe, well, Coxon's not really in a position to, actually, you know what? I believe Janik is in a position too. So everybody here really is in position to win the championship except for Coxon, who's not racing in it. But we've got him in there because it's not like his points magically evaporate. I believe we're joined by Alberto Ibañez.
Good evening.
There you are. Cool.
Can you hear me okay? Because
yes.
I'm not sure about this microphone that I'm using right now.
No, you're fine, and we're on the air. So, welcome to the booth, Alberto. I was showing everyone what the points situation is right now. There are essentially 40 points to play for, including the 10 that are today. After today, the maximum points that anybody on the chart can score would be 30, because we have rounds 14, 15, and 16, Spain, Japan, and Australia after this one, correct?
Yep.
All right, so with the current situation, I was mentioning to the viewers that for Miller, Jakes, and Janik, Coxon really doesn't figure into this because he's not in the series anymore. But the main barrier to their, or the main challenge to them to get the championship is not really Mikola so much as it is time. Because time is very definitely running out for these drivers.
It is indeed, yes. There are only so many races left, and, well, you would need not just a fair bit of luck, but also maybe Pascal not finishing properly in some of the races, because otherwise he's, at this point, the clear favorite to wrap up the championship.
Yeah, we're going to be keeping a very close eye on the points. I was telling the viewers I've made a special graphic that shows what the points would be if the race ended now, and we will be updating that as we go, just so viewers can see what implication the events on the track are having on the championship in real time. Because if the champion is crowned today, and that is a potential, we don't want to miss it.
Oh, that's great. Looking forward to see that.
So we're watching Mike Olsen, who has sprung to the top of the chart suddenly here in his Ferrari. Looks like he's got a very good handling car on full tanks.
Yeah, so it seems. I would think that this is a track that actually favors a bit the Ferrari. It has this long straight before that winding, twisty back section. And the Ferraris and the McLarens are expected to perform pretty well here. This is a track where overtaking is not going to be very easy in the back section. It's going to be, however, quite much better at the end of the main straight. That's the point where you're going to see most of the overtaking, although you have to come out of the previous turn, the one on the opposite side of the straight, with enough momentum to make it happen. So we're going to see some cars that run higher on the wings and some that go lower, depending on what the driver wants, what he favors, what he thinks is the best. Because I know that some drivers are going to basically play a quite peculiar game in that they know they might be actually slower using lower wing, but they are going to give up on that, and instead that they are going to use a low wing that allows them to defend themselves on the main straight, and also maybe to attack and be able to overtake. So picture the situation: if you are trying to overtake a car that is slower than you, that is holding you up, and you are powerless because you cannot overtake in the main straight because he is so much quicker than you. So we might see something here today.
We're looking at the track map now as you're giving us those comments, and yeah, this is it's a compromised track for sure because of the long straight you have. You want to be able to get maximum speed on there, but of course that would compromise your grip on the backside of the course. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how drivers tackle this. Do they go for the maximum speed on the straight, or do they, as you say, do a compromise and put more wing in the car so that they have better grip? And it'll depend on the driver's preference, but also probably the strengths of his car. Like if I were driving a Ferrari, for example, in this race, and I knew that the strength of the engine was the best part of the car and not the handling, I'd probably say to myself, well, I'm going to be handling poorly on the backside of the course no matter what I do, so I may as well just take advantage of the engine speed. Is that a fair assessment of what they might be thinking?
Well, that's the funny thing. It could actually work, as you say, but it could actually be the opposite. Like, well, have plenty of power here on my right foot, then what the hell? I'm going to raise those wings and get a better time in the back stretch because I'm going to be quick on the straight anyway.
Yeah, that's true. That's the other way to look at it, I suppose.
Yeah, if there was a clear cut, people would all be doing the same, and it would work because everybody would be doing the same. Everybody on low wing on the straight, you would see one trying to defend with a low wing, but the other being able to go so much quicker with a low wing and overtake. So in the end, you would basically nullify that difference. But that's not what's going to happen here, because as I said, people are going to basically go for different strategies. It's also worth mentioning that if you go for a lower wing, then you're going to heat up your tires much more. You're going to wear your brakes more, and you're also going to use less fuel.
Yes.
So that's something also to consider, although I don't think that even the McLarens, which are, the V12s are the thirstiest cars, I don't think that even them are going to have problems to finish the race.
I was going to go on board with Mike Olsen for a lap, but his engine failed just as he crossed the line. I don't know if that was part of the plan or what, but we're riding on board with David Jakes now, and he is following one of the Minardis, I believe. Didn't quite get to see who that was, but in any case, eventually Jakes is going to be starting a new lap here, and we'll get to see.
Yeah, but look at that. I mean, Jakes is unable to overtake Vadim Daseak here on the Minardi. You see you see those things at play. But look, now he's eating him in the corner because he has so much more wing and he's quicker in this section.
I think you might be watching a replay.
With the low wing setup.
All right, so off the corner comes David Jakes, and he's going to go for a full lap here, so we'll get a good look at this Estoril circuit. He crosses the start-finish line. Elevate the view slightly there for you. This is the first turn, and purportedly this turn would give drivers in real life up to 4 lateral Gs going through here because of the speed. Now he downshifts for a tighter corner, right-hander that seems to go on for quite a long time. And now we head into a left-hander, which is one of the slower corners in the circuit. You see Richard Wilkes and Little Al just ahead of David. Wilkes gets out of the way.
Corner, very slow indeed.
Yes, now we head through a little bit of a right-hand kink to another hairpin. And this one's interesting because you're kind of heading uphill as you go through. He downshifts, goes through, and you can see there's a slight rise in the circuit there. And now we're heading uphill again into a series of right-handers on the top right section of the course, at least if you're looking at the map with the straight in the bottom. And it is a decently wide circuit, but there's not a whole lot of room to get things wrong. There's a little bit of grass there, but now here's this long, kind of cumbersome final turn. It's not at all like the Peraltada in Mexico. It doesn't have banking as much, and it kind of has a squared off end to it. So if you're not careful, you can run right off the circuit there.
Yeah, you can. It's the circuit itself. Well, it wasn't one of the more loved in the Formula One circuits, but in my opinion, it's a great circuit. It's a very scenic view. The landscape around it is beautiful. It goes up, it goes down. It has quick sections, it has slow sections. So it has a bit of everything, and I think that's what usually makes a great track. So probably the main reason why it didn't work so well is that even if having all of those streets, for whatever the reason, it didn't produce that great racing here. I don't know, maybe it's the back section is too slow. It doesn't give too many chances of overtaking, and the overtakings that happen in the quick section usually are not that spectacular because it's the product of the higher top speed in the main straight. But as I said, for whatever reason, it hasn't become one of the most mythical circuits, and it's a shame because I think it's a great venue.
Well, let's take a look briefly, Alberto, at some news items leading into this race. Some technical ones. For Estoril, Renault has introduced the RS3B engine, which gives the car improved torque and about 26 more horsepower. That'll be welcome news for Dave Miller, because he needs all the help he can get to close that gap with Pascal.
The engine in Pascal's Tyrrell is actually frozen, I believe, for already for some races. It's not receiving updates. Whereas in the case of the William, is going to get here that extra boost of horsepower. In any case, Pascal has done, again, a brilliant job with it. So he's sitting very high there, and I think he got the pole. Sorry, because I joined late, but...
Yeah, it appears that he did, but we'll definitely confirm that when we do the grid later. Another news item, technical based for Estoril, Footwork's radiators have been rearranged to take better advantage of the relatively lower cooling needs of the Cosworth engine as opposed to the Porsche that they discarded. Lift and drag are reduced as well as a result. So I don't know. I don't think we're going to see Bence Valdinger in this race, based on what I've been reading. So I'm not sure if Footwork's going to be able to benefit from that today, but we'll see.
That's Francois Remen, also driving the other Footwork.
All right. We also have a couple of news items related to signings. Bruno Paggiola has joined Tyrrell alongside Pascal Mikola for the rest of the season. And Johnny Aces, Jonathan Asser-Clinth, has signed with Team Lotus, which will be interesting. We wish our broadcast partner Johnny Aces well in this race. Hopefully his Lotus will prove to be quick and well handling on the Estoril circuit.
Yeah, it's going to be two very good quality and veteran drivers there in the Lotus team with Steve Parker and Jonathan teaming there.
Yeah, that's right. Parker is in the other Lotus. The trivia question for you today. Something for you to ponder while the race unfolds. Alain Prost and Nigel Mansell share the record for the most Portuguese Grand Prix wins with 3 each. Who is next on this list with 2 wins? Is it A, Ayrton Senna, B, Gerhard Berger, or C, Sterling Moss? We'll have the answer later in the broadcast. So, as so often has happened in these races, the first corner and the first lap are very critical. We may actually find out how this race will impact the championship relatively quickly, I would think, potentially. But on the other hand, we've seen people exit the race late and throw up unusual results. So, really, who knows what will happen? We'll see. We'll see how things develop.
Yeah, first turn here is not that critical because it's quite open. It's a big radius one, as you already highlighted. Is I think nearly 4G turn, so that's not going to cause much trouble. And hopefully the cars will have more or less lined properly in the place where they should be by the time they come to the next turn, which is the tighter one. But they will also have probably lost a bit of speed there. And well, like I said, hopefully those who made a good start will be many hundred of yards ahead, and in that case, hopefully everything will go smoothly through.
All right, let's talk for a minute about what's coming up at ISO in the next few weeks. Next week, we go back IndyCar racing, 1974 style. It's the Tony Bettenhausen 200 from Wisconsin State Fair Park. This is a race that some people may find a bit frustrating, i.e. me, but should prove to be exciting. It's a real chance to, again, the championship is getting tight towards the end here in USAC, so we'll see how things play out there.
Yeah, it's our second visit there. It's a great track, but I think that by 1974, the power of these cars was already becoming. It was making it very clear that they were basically like you once said. I remember about Phoenix, basically like driving jet fighters in a basketball arena. So
Well,
yeah.
I think the better description that I've heard is that you're just basically drag racing from one corner to the next, especially at Milwaukee, because the grip that the cars offer is not enough to really keep up speed. At least at Phoenix, you've got some banking to work with. Here you don't. So it's going to be a real challenge to set up your car to make sure it's not too loose that you lose it, but also not a pushmobile through the corners when you're following people.
Yeah, be very patient.
Patience will be a virtue. Also, we have a little bit of a surprise for everybody. Coming up the week after next, we have another Lucas Vidra Trophy round. It's 1980 BMW M1 Pro cars at the Oostenrijk ring.
That's right. The
Yes.
big, heavy, and powerful GT cars are back to HSO, to ISO. Sorry for
ISO.
that.
Oh,
my
goodness.
I was going to say last time we raced them, that was in HSO, but this time we're racing them here in ISO. And they have a very important physics update by Richard Wilkes. And now the cars behave, I think, well, from all the cars from Richard Wilkes I've ever driven, I think that's the one that I like most. I think he really nailed it, and they behave so realistically that you really feel it in the car, and it's going to be immense fun driving them around that big, dangerous track.
Yeah, it's going to be sweet. Then, the following Sunday, we go back F1 racing again for the Spanish Grand Prix, and I'll be broadcasting that one live on Sunday, October 18th, green light at 2000 CET. And then, round 15 coming up on November 8th, the Fuji Television Japanese Grand Prix from the very, very diabolical Suzuka circuit. So that's a look at what's coming up. So we got about 9 minutes to go here, and we want to give our sponsors some time to show their wares to. We have a couple of new sponsors to go through. So everybody sit tight. We'll be right back after these messages. Don't go away.
It's a symbol of security for millions of Americans. A document that protects your rights in all 50 states. And an inspiration for all who honor it. It's the Goodyear Promise. Available only with Goodyear Certified Auto Service. It includes a nationwide warranty that promises we'll fix your car right or fix it again free at 2,700 locations nationwide. Good tires, good service, good people, Goodyear.
For some people, the best thing about the morning is that it's over by the afternoon. So the Braun shaver is quiet to soothe the soul. It's curved to comfortably fit the face, with 3 shaving positions to cut, groom, and trim with superb results. Braun, a state-of-the-art shaver that could improve your state of mind. The world's #1 selling foil shaver.
Power Stick Antiperspirant. It excels with 50% more odor and wetness fibers per stroke for 24-hour control that ordinary deodorant sticks just can't beat. Power Stick, the power that puts you in control.
Pardon me. Would you have any Grey Poupon?
But of course.
Grey Poupon, one of life's finer pleasures.
These are the machines of the 90s.
Fuel injection, overhead cams, fully valve.
Today's high-tech engines demand high-tech protection. Kendall Motor Oil is specifically designed to provide the ultimate protection against heat and wear under the most extreme conditions. Don't take a chance with your high-tech engine. Use Kendall Motor Oil, formulated to protect your high-tech engine. Kendall Motor Oil, pour in the protection. Kendall, available at these locations.
It's Saturday morning out in the garage. Time to tune up the car for a little spin at about 200 miles per hour. This is the International Race of Champions, and these are master mechanic tools from True Value hardware stores, because around here, performance really counts, and these guys need tools they can count on. So do you. So get master mechanic tools from participating True Value hardware stores and home centers.
It's a symbol of security for millions of Americans. A document that protects your rights in all 50 states. And an inspiration for all who honor it. It's the Goodyear Promise. Available only with Goodyear Certified Auto Service. It includes a nationwide warranty that promises we'll fix your car right or fix it again free at 2,700 locations nationwide. Good tires, good service, good people, Goodyear.
With the highest resale value in its class and proven Honda reliability, the Accord truly is a safe place to put your money.
And we are back. So really, I think we've made the point, Alberto, that this is Pascal's championship to lose, and it doesn't behoove him to drive with the red mist from here on out.
Yeah, that's the case, and I know he is very much aware of it, and probably we won't be seeing any daredevil moves or anything like that from him. He is not impatient at all to clinch the championship here. He just wants to drive steadily, focus on what he does, do the best he can, and not really care much about what others do. His only real concern at this point is Dave Miller, so that's probably the only one he's going to keep an eye on. But let's say a very distant eye. From his point of view, the only thing that really would be of interest is in case Dave does not finish the race. Because in that case, well, obviously the small extra effort of trying to win, if he is not already in the lead, that would pay off big time. That would be maybe a risk worth going.
Yeah, because let's talk about that for a moment. If Pascal won the race and Dave Miller did not finish, that would give Pascal 70 points to Miller's 38, which then basically puts him out of championship contention. It means that even if he scored the maximum points of 30 for the next 3 rounds, it would only give him 68 points, so he would lose the championship by 2 points. So really, if Pascal has a spectacular day, it's going to be up to Miller to respond and Jakes to respond, frankly, if they want to have any realistic shot at the championship. But we will be watching this, as I've said, throughout the broadcast, and we'll check in probably with this graphic every 10 laps or so, just to give us an idea of where we're at.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting situation because you have here Pascal, who needs to play conservative. He's not going to be aggressive, and yet he has the pace to be there on top. But then you have all those other drivers, besides Dave Miller, who obviously needs to keep the championship alive by doing his best. But then you have all those other drivers, like Anders Nilsson or David Jakes or Brian Janik, who have very good chances of actually winning a race, of doing a podium, of scoring well, and they have nothing to lose. So they are probably going to be way more aggressive. They are going to really go for it. And then you have there Pascal in the middle with a very good race pace, who is going to be his main concern is going to be not taken off by anyone who is doing aggressive moves or who is trying to overtake, and not get in the middle of any battle of anything like that. But if Dave Miller parks the car for whatever reason, then it's going to be all of a sudden a complete change of mindset for Pascal, because he has also nothing to lose. He could win this race and wrap the championship here just in case anything goes wrong in another race. And by simply scoring points, he doesn't really win a lot in this case, because the championship is already his and Dave Miller would not finish the race. So that's the only situation when we would see probably Pascal turning completely his strategy and going on the attack.
All right, so we have about a minute and change left here in this warm-up session as Parker comes back on the track and doesn't realize that one of the Brabhams is closing on him. Hopefully that won't happen in the actual race. But, yeah, I think people are also going to have to pay very close attention to their mirrors here, because there are certain instances where, I mean, we've seen in real life, too, if you're going for the pits and it's not apparent to the person behind you, that could be a problem. So...
Well, and we have something very weird happen here. It seems that Bruno Bagiola, who was about to compete in this race, has said that his father had a home accident and has been taken to the hospital, and he needs to give up. I'm sorry, because I was looking forward to see Bruno's debut here. He's a very good driver.
Yeah.
And we hope his father is in good shape, despite everything. This reminds me to that situation, remember, Jason, when the Michigan race was stopped because Merle Bettenhausen had crashed against the wall, and Gary Bettenhausen was released from the race by Penske to go to the hospital with his brother.
Yeah. Well, whatever's going on there, we wish Bruno and his father the best, because after all, this is just a little Sunday pastime of ours, and of course, real life concerns are infinitely more important. All right, so zeros on the clock, and we're going to be going to the race session in just a moment. Lots of new faces here that you'll notice, people in one-off cars that you may not recognize, which provides kind of an X factor on the track. It appears we have 24 cars taking the green light today, so that's a fairly healthy field. There were 30 cars registered for this race, which was a surprisingly big number of cars, especially so late in the season. But it ended up that we didn't need to impose that limit. Okay, 71 laps are on the board. 2 hours, whichever comes first. We're ready for the Portuguese Grand Prix. Finding our pole sitter. Actually, the pole sitter is Anders Nilsson, believe it or not. Oh, wait a minute.
No, they are restarting because Vadim Tasiak just fell out of the game.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're waiting for a moment, and he's probably going to join in a moment.
All right. All right. Well, we'll wait for a moment to see what happens, because this is something that happens every now and then. Somebody's going to the race session and suddenly they drop off the map.
Yeah, it's a big field, so...
Yeah, bigger than normal, so we'll have to see what happens here. And of course, this is a driver's worst nightmare, having a situation like this where you're waiting to start the race patiently, and you think you're ready to go, and the next thing you know, you're told that you have to wait again. It gives you butterflies. It's not fun.
But it's even worse if you're prepared to race and the next thing you see is your desktop.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, the connection lost, the dreaded message when you are alone on the track.
You're scrambling to restart the game, and it's not a fun feeling, no. So the admins are allowing people to go out on the track, at least just to keep loose, while we sort the situation out. There we see John Team exiting the pits in his, well, thought he was going to, but apparently not, in his LaRousse. There he goes. Or not. Stop, start, stop, start. So we caught a glimpse there of who was going to be on the pole before the session was restarted. It looked like it was Anders Nilsson, but then again, it may have been a mistake on the part of the game, or maybe things got sorted funny when we were restarting the session. But we'll take a look when things start again.
It's funny how different the drivers are when they are in front of this odd situation of having to wait 5 minutes more before the race. Some go lap around like the Duracell rabbit because they need to relieve the tension, and others are basically sitting there in the garage like looking to the roof and, well, relaxing.
Yeah, that's what I typically do. Sometimes I think maybe that's not a good idea, but it depends on the race. If you know it's going to be a tiring race, you want every ounce of energy you can use. So maybe it's not a good idea to go out and just blister off laps, in the warm-up. But again, you're right. It's individual preference for sure.
Maybe it was a big failure of the internet at Vadim's home because he's not even in the forum. No sign of him anywhere. Let's see what happens.
Well, we'll leave it up to the admins to decide how much time they're going to give Vadim to get back on.
Yeah, because now you're basically risking that someone else suffers the same thing.
Yeah, exactly. This can compound. We've had that happen before in other leagues.
Oh, and we haven't done our prediction yet about who might be the winner of the race.
Oh.
What do you think?
I'm going to go with Nilsson on this one, I think. That's just my personal
very good driver
feeling.
and a very good car. Seems like a safe bet.
Yeah.
I'd normally go for Pascal because he has shown great pace and he's no stranger to winning. But I know that he's going to be very careful here and not risk anything. So I'd like to put the money on someone else. Just because you said Anders Nilsson, I'm going to put it in one of the other contenders. Brian Janik is probably going to win unless he has a really bad strike of luck, which is the case with him. Odds are 50-50, decide a crash or win. Or break the engine or win. But I'm going to put my money on him just as to show some trust on his abilities, so to speak, or better, on his luck.
Yep, well, we're watching Janik now, and I'd say he's come close to... He's won only one race in this series this year. He should have... he could have been in contention for several more. But you're right, there were engine failures for him and bad luck in other instances that just robbed him of chances to do well. But he's always a threat, that's for sure. All right, so what's the story? Are we going to wait a little bit longer for Vadim to resurface, or?
I don't think so.
All right, well.
All right.
All right.
Here we
now
go.
Now we are going to the race session. 2 hours on the clock. Of course, we're probably going to reach 71 laps before then. This is interesting. Schlapinski's on the pole now. Are we sure the grid is correct? Not to denigrate Schlapinski in any way, but I don't believe he was...
No, they need to reload the grid.
Oh,
That would
boy.
be one moment. They'll be reloading the grid in a moment.
Mm-hmm.
Still needs to be done, and then it goes to race session.
Okay.
There you go.
Lots of hurry up and wait today.
Yes, Pascal in the pole and Anders in second, Miller in third, Jakes in
there
fourth.
We go.
Yeah.
All right, we thank everybody for their patience. We're about set to go here for the Portuguese Grand Prix. This is Richard Wilkes' home race.
Oh yeah, we haven't talked about that. That's
yeah,
pretty
and,
cool.
and it is very much his home race because he lives just across the water, outside of Lisbon. So this is.
He has visited, I think, this track many times already.
Yes. So Vadim says that he has had a disco and he's restarted the DSL, but of course we all know that that takes forever to happen, and so things are obviously not well with him at the moment. Sorry about that, Vadim. But the show has to go on, so once they let the cars off the grid, we will go through the grid for you. Hot sun here today in Estoril. Off we go on the parade lap. On the pole is the championship leader, Pascal Mikola, Tyrrell Honda 020. Second, Anders Nilsson, Benetton Ford B191. Third, Dave Miller, Williams Renault FW14. Fourth, David Jakes, Delara Judd D191. Fifth, Juha Boss, McLaren Honda MP46. Sixth is Gabriel Del Piccolo, Jordan Ford J191. Seventh is David Saber, Ferrari 643, and he's followed immediately by his teammate, Mike Olsen, in the other Ferrari 643. Ninth is Tim Hilla in the Jordan Ford J191. 10th is Brian Janik, a little further down the grid than I would expect, but I still think he has an excellent shot at doing well here. 11th is Ray Radahl in the other Delara. 12th is Little Al in the other McLaren. 13th, Bruno Chacon in his Williams Renault. 14th, Adam Hackman in the other Benetton. 15th is John Team in the Sol LaRousse Ford, I believe. Or no, wait, there's another LaRousse in this grid. 16th, Jonathan Nasserclint making his debut with Lotus. 17th is Peter Jones making his ISO debut in the Ligier Lamborghini JS35B. 18th, Jules Bouchard in the Leighton House Ilmore CG911. 19th, Cesarius Lipinski, Brabham Yamaha. 20th, Francois Remin in the Footwork Hart FA12C. 21st is Tomas Matusek, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, in the other LaRousse. 22nd, Simon Watman in the Kalani Ford C4. 23rd, Richard Wilkes in his home Grand Prix in the other Leighton House. And rounding out the field, in 24th place and last, is Steve Parker in the other Lotus Judd. That's your grid.
Some new faces here. We're glad to see that. Peter Jones doing a very good debut here, because that Colon is not exactly the quickest car around. So, and he wasn't even the last on the grid, which is nice to see. And also Thomas Matusek, as you say, if that's how it's pronounced. We hope it's right.
Matusek.
If not, we would like to get schooled in how it is. We also have here back in the grid Francois Remen, who played a big role in the development of this motor originally for for R-Factor, Formula 191 for R-Factor, and is going to be a big help for the tracks for next year, because we are joining him to prepare some of the venues. Simon Watman also coming back, and they are lining now for the grid. So I'm going to stop the talk and let the engines do that talk instead.
Yes, so the cars are lining up now. We are waiting for the start. Here it comes. Hang on. And the race is underway! Excellent getaway by Pascal, but look who's coming up there. It's Anders Nilsson, and now here comes Dave Miller on the inside. Is he going to overlap both of them? Yes, he is! Look at that! Unbelievable! Dave Miller goes...
Some cars running wide there already.
Oh, my goodness! Yeah, we got some cars off in the... We have one car that's off. It appears to be a... It is Jules Bouchard.
Jules Bouchard.
Yes, Jules Bouchard is off the track, and looks like he's got some damage, but he's going to have a hard time getting out of that gravel. Very unfortunate start for him, but look, Dave Miller is in the lead. Pascal Mikola is second. Anders Nilsson third. Tim Hille is fourth. So a great start by Miller. This is exactly what he wanted. Excellent overlap of two cars going into the first turn. Very well done.
What a brutal start also from François Remen, who is now in 12th.
Oh my goodness.
That was amazing. Another car there. That's Jonathan Aferklint, who is in the gravel track.
Oh no!
Cesarius going sideways, doing the best Caio Michiels impersonation, but he saved it very nicely. Jonathan still trapped in the gravel. Jules Bouchard without front wing has joined the track again, and he's now heading for the pits. And Miller has done, well, an absolutely crazy, amazing start. He's opening a gap already. No prisoners taken for him.
Oh my goodness, look at that.
That's Tim Hille, who just ran over a curb and nearly lost it there. What a good piece of car control we just saw.
Coming through the first corner. Ending lap 1, Dave Miller first, Pascal second, Anders Nilsson third, Tim Hille fourth, David Jakes is fifth, sixth is David Saber, seventh Ray Radal, eighth Gabriel Del Piccolo, ninth Juha Boss, 10th is Brian Janik, and one Benetton is in the pits already.
Yep.
And that looks to be Adam Hackman.
No, that's interesting. Wonder what, because I don't think he has done any damage to the car. So I'm wondering what the reason is to actually go to the pits.
Had to have done some kind of damage because, I mean, the only other thing I can think of is he didn't put enough fuel in the car. I don't know.
Well, he would not be able to refuel anyway, so...
True, yeah. Now, Mikola, meanwhile, is all over Miller in these turns. This is and Nilsson is right there, close by, so indeed it was Hackman. But look at this, 1, 2, and 3 cars in the race. You could throw a blanket over them right now. Coming through the final turn onto the main straight. And we've mentioned how tricky that last corner is. You can really, if you're not careful, have a big off there. Coming down, it looks like Nilsson's going to make an attempt here on Mikola. Mikola fades slightly to the right to discourage him from doing so. I'm sure Nilsson's not going to be too thrilled about that, but in any case...
He has one move. He can
yes,
move
that's true.
once to defend the position, and he didn't actually throw the car in the last moment, so...
No.
But
so,
yeah, as you say, Anders is not going to be happy about it once he had the run. It was well timed, but Pascal...
There's a bit of a psychological thing going on there. He's going to think twice next time he pops out.
Yeah.
But look at Mikola all over Miller here. This is excellent. We've got a straight-up fight here between Miller and Mikola, and Mikola took a slight look in the inside, but was very wise to not take the bait there. Although, look at him now. He's popping out, looking, but he's not really in the right spot here. Miller, again, holding him off. And we mentioned earlier that the Williams is benefiting from a very good upgrade to the engine, 20-plus horsepower more in that Renault RS3B engine. So he's definitely going to be able to put that to good effect when he's out in front here. He doesn't have the handicap of dirty air in front of him. And even though Mikola's got the slipstream, it's his line in front there, Dave's.
John's, our new debutant, is without a front wing, probably some kind of hit against the wall, and he's heading for the pits now.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Nilsson has actually dropped back quite a bit there, so he might have had a little bit of a bobble somewhere along the way, and that gives David Jakes an opportunity. Hackman's out of the race. I'll tell you what, he's had a really rough season. He's driving a car that arguably is one of the better ones in the mod, the Benetton. Very smooth driving car. And despite the fact it's a V8, reasonably quick, but he's had an awful season. I'm sure he's going to be glad to see the back of this.
It's a very personal car. I mean, it either suits your style or doesn't. So I remember how Mick Chapman got that car and was at some point not really happy and ended up dropping it. So there's no question about the speed of the car, but sometimes there is no mojo between the driver and the car.
Yeah, that's true. Of course, you have to consider the driver. The driver is not an inert block of wood that you put in the car. Their preference and how their style is definitely plays into how much they can extract from the machinery. Mikola still in second place behind Miller. As they come off the corner now, we'll see what that gap is. There's still a pretty sizable gap to Nilsson, but it looks like Mikkola, no, he's still not in a position to really challenge Miller, and I think a lot of that is down to the horsepower of that Renault
they're
engine.
now going to meet Jones, who just came out of the pits with a new front wing, and hopefully all the damage repaired. And we're going to see how he's able to let them by and not interfere. Very well, he opens there.
Jones let them by. Good job. It's definitely that's a stressful thing when you're coming up to lap somebody you don't know. You have no mental book on this driver.
Yeah, especially exiting the pits on cold tires. So,
and there's and now he's got a little bit squirrely there, but he makes room for Nilsson as well. So it appears all is well with the first lap car in this race. We're keeping our eyes here on the front of the grid, or the front of the field, obviously because of the championship implications, but it's also the best, one of the best battles on the circuit right now, too.
Oh, yeah, and there is also a hell of a battle right behind, because there's Tim Hiller leading a group where there is Gabriele Del Piccolo, David Saber absolutely looking to pass Gabriele. Behind them is Juha Boss. Yep. And then you have Ridal, Brian, Janik, and Little Al. Although
that's a very exciting group.
More of a distance, yeah.
All right. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, this shot is very foreshortened looking down the straight, but it looks every time like Pascal's got a chance to make a move. But then I think the difference, like I said, really in the end is that extra horsepower of the V10. So, looking a little further back here, Tim Hilla in 5th, Del Piccolo 6th, Juha Boss 7th, and Saber is really looking to get ahead of Juha Boss. These are two 12-cylinder cars. But he's got another car right behind him. Brian Janik is not far behind. That's another 12-cylinder car.
Yeah, that's one of those very uncomfortable situations when you're eyeing how to pass the car in front, but you also have to defend from the car behind. And that's the problem with those big groups of cars.
Yeah, look at how jammed up it's getting here because, oh my goodness, heavy brake smoke there from Peter Jones. I'm not sure what's going on there, but they're going to arrive at this corner in a very kind of cumbersome situation. They got to try to go around the outside of him now. So Peter very much getting baptism by fire here at ISO. It'll be really interesting to see if Saber can make hay in this race. Ridal, uncharacteristically, is a bit further back here in 10th place.
Wow, that's Jones in the barrier now, and he's out of the race.
Oh, goodness.
Well, yeah, anyway, not a bad debut for him.
This is interesting because Nilsson has clawed back suddenly that space that he was left. So now, if you're Mikkola, now you have the problem of being caught between your main championship rival and a guy who has just received a sizable car upgrade by moving to Benetton. And he's got, he is absolutely, little contact there between Mikkola and Miller. He locked up his front tires and just ran out of room a little bit there. I don't think there was any damage incurred by either of them. Just a light touch.
I think what is making Pascal move at this point is that one thing is to have Dave Miller like leading and that, and the other one is seeing Dave on the lead and then another car in between them, because that's already a big jump in points.
It is, absolutely. So that's something to keep in mind.
I think nobody expected Miller to be able to do such a great start and lead the race, probably Pascal the least of them. And this has thrown his strategy, his original strategy of playing back a bit out of the window. But as in the immortal words of Mike Tyson, everybody has a plan until you get punched in the face.
Miller is... Okay, now here's Miller trying to get the benefit of slipstream off of Simon Watman. Oh, look at this! Here comes Nilsson up the inside! Go! Oh my goodness, there's contact there! I don't know if that was... Oh my goodness. Look out, guys! Come on! It's only lap 8! My goodness, that was scary.
Anders and Jakes and the people like that, they were going to be aggressive because they have nothing to lose. And they know that Pascal has a lot to lose and therefore is going to cut back. But, well, probably Pascal is not thinking in those terms. He's not someone who is going to let himself be intimidated.
I think Nilsson would have had that position had it not been for the awkward placement of Simon's car. That's just that's my point of view.
No, Pascal read very well the position of the Lavet car on the race. He didn't make a move. He just basically waited until Nilsson squeezed himself there.
Nilsson
But
has
Nilsson
another
was a bit
look.
optimistic there.
The YouTube chat is enjoying this race, clearly. High drama here. And I think it speaks to the mod, but also the talent that we have in this series. This is our elite series. The very best.
Speaking of the mod, it's physics outdoor. Richard Wilkes is now suffering behind the other Williams. That's Bruno Chacon. That's what you get when you are like a bit quicker. You are able to catch up with the car in front, but then the car in front is a Williams with one of the steadiest drivers in the grid, like Bruno. And it's going to, well, that's something that usually makes your life hell in the race. And Bruno has been able to slot John Tim between him and Richard Wilkes.
Oh my goodness! A big development here. Nilsson is without a front and rear wing. I'm not sure how that happened. I was honestly looking away from the monitor. Let's have another look at a replay here. This is significant because obviously he's going to have to go to the pits. Jules Bouchard. Oh my goodness! That is what happened. He was trying to. Let's run it back because it happened so quickly.
He had overtaken Pascal.
He had overtaken Pascal, and I don't think Pascal was expecting the checkup that... Oh, I see what happened. Nilsson slides as he's coming through here.
Yeah.
And there's a drop in speed. Yeah, there was a drop in speed that Pascal wasn't expecting. That's really unfortunate. And I guess it speaks to how much he had the car trimmed out.
He was forcing the car to be on the inside of Jules Bouchard because he was clearly suffering a lot from the dirt tier of the car in front. So he was forcing it to the apex, but it was a bit too much and he lost it.
Well, here comes Nilsson into the pits. Obviously, he's dropping through the field like a stone. Miller, by the way, has pulled out a decent lead now on Mikola. He's got him by 4 seconds almost.
Yeah, but look, so right now it's David Jakes who has taken the spot of Anders Nilsson in hounding Pascal. So it's exactly as we had predicted. I mean, those drivers with some decent cars and very good skills, they are going to be fighting there for the race because it's what they can do at this point in the championship, like collect points and podiums and good finishes. And Pascal is going to be caught here in the middle of all this.
The other question,
meanwhile, it's Miller who is actually benefiting from all this that is happening behind him. And has been able to already open a big gap and drive comfortably. And that's the point where probably the sweet spot for the Williams and for Dave Miller, when he is able to run on himself.
The other thing you have to keep in mind here is Mikola may have suffered some damage in that slight altercation.
Yeah, it could be.
It could be possible, but I mean, so far he seems to be doing okay. But he's got Jakes to deal with now, another person who's trying to desperately close in the championship. Look, he's actually pulling on him in the straight quite well here. I don't think he's got a chance to overtake here, but the closure rate was pretty impressive there for Jakes. So we'll have to keep an eye on this and see what happens.
They both have gotten a bit closer to Dave Miller now. Not to forget Gabriele Del Piccolo, who is running in fourth and has been himself able to open a bit of a gap from his pursuers, which are Juha Boss and Tim Hille, his teammate. Brian Janik, David Sabre and Ray Riddle are also running in a group there, although with some safe distance. I don't want to really say it very loud, but it's great to see the Ferrari there. And the same goes for Mike Olson, who is behind Lidlal, still there in the track.
Yeah, this is, it's really...
Oh, Nilsson quits.
Oh, no. Well, I don't suppose that was unexpected.
There's a bit of drama here while David Sabre is trying to overtake Jules Bouchard. Ryan Janik already made the pass, but we mentioned it. If you catch another car in the twisty section, it's really hard for you. David going for the inside for the cleaner, but there goes Ray Riddle. I mean, you lose a moment. They're trying to overtake a car, and well, that was very well played from David Saber. He denied the slipstream to Ray Riddle very cleverly.
All right, we're going to have our first look at the points of the race.
And Jonathan Atherclin is stopping in the track. No, he tried. He basically missed the braking point, but he's again on the track. It's Simon Watman who is parked there in the end, probably with a blown engine, causing a yellow flag on that sector, although he's in a safe zone. No, he's quit now.
All right, so looking at the graphic is actually frozen. Unfortunately, I'm trying to save it, but apparently Windows has got other options. But the points if the race were to actually finish right now would be Pascal Mikola with 66 points, Miller with 48, and Jakes with 35. Considering where they are right now, so that would still kick the championship can down the road, given where we are. So the battle at the front is kind of leveled off for the moment. And if we look back at a little further through the field, things have also calmed down pretty well back here as well. But here's little Al looking like he's going to close in on, I believe that's a Delara of Ray Radal.
Well, those two have been meeting in the track a lot lately. Yeah, still far from the points. Last place position is Tim Hille, which is 6th. Brian Janik is making his way up to that position now, catching up with him. So it's Miller from Pascal, now with a bit of a gap between them, then David Yates, and then Gabriele Del Piccolo in a very hopeful 4th position. That's exactly the place where you can quickly get the podium if something goes wrong at the top. And Pascal, bit by bit, getting closer to take Miller again.
He is. He's closing in. So whatever question we had about his car seems to have been answered. He's slowly reeling in Miller again here.
And we are now 13 laps into the race, and it will still be like 10 laps more until we start to see maybe someone doing a pit stop. Because as far as I know from the drivers I've talked to, if you are going on medium tires all around, you can very well do the whole race with a single stop. But if some people who have opted for the softs on the rear to get better traction, they will have to change them quicker. So expect those who have the softs on the rear to make a stop around lap 23 or something like that, and then a second one. We don't know yet who is on what tire, but that's something that we will be able to tell next year, because in the 86 mode that is being worked on right now, there will be visible markings on the tires, so it will make our life in the broadcast booth much easier.
Yeah, we won't be able to speculate anymore. We'll have to just watch the monitor and see what's going on with the tire markings. That'll be nice luxury for us. Less
Yeah, we
speculation.
will be speculating actually about who has what race boost on and who will be able to make it in the end of the race or not, because those cars were very much known both to be notoriously quick, powerful, and also notoriously thirsty. So some of the races towards the end, they became an economy race. But anyway, we're in 91 now, and Pascal is getting closer to Dave Miller. They are now in the main straight, and so far, it doesn't seem that the Tyrrell is able to, or does have the legs to really put a threat to the Williams there. Jakes is also, I would say, taking it easy. He's in that third position, distant position, and he's studying what is going on in front of him. Although I'm pretty sure that he would not like to see Pascal overtaking Dave Miller, because in that case he would have a much harder time. I mean, I think he basically wants to kill two birds with a stone and wait until Pascal clashes with Dave, and then maybe if they are left in a bad position after a defensive move or whatever, then try to go to the front in a single move.
Yeah, I think that's a fair assessment. Of course, we have the benefit of looking at a lot of statistics, and oh my goodness, there's a that was a Brabham that was
now.
Yeah.
He's reversing actually, because the
goodness.
car is not pointing in the right direction, and the gravel traps are so nasty here that you can barely turn your wheels. Oh, and he burned the engine. Yeah, obviously that's going to happen here if you are for too long standing still. Bad luck for him. It's a shame because he has been having quite some bad luck in the last races. Pascal now getting a bit anxious behind Dave Miller.
Yeah, he is. Definitely, and he's got Jakes right with him.
Yeah, I think that's the reason, the main reason. He doesn't want to be all of a sudden third with Dave Miller in first position. That's obviously the situation he doesn't want to be in. Also considering that Gabriele is not really that far behind.
Mm-hmm.
It's a complicated situation for Pascal here because you don't want to take any unnecessary risks, and yet you are trying to overtake a car that is quicker than yours.
Yep. All right, so we have our first look at the points. If they ended now, Pascal would have 66 points because he's in second. He picks up 6. Dave Miller would be in second with 48. He picks up 10. David Jakes is third, third in the race, which means he has 4 points and would have 35. Coxon not in this race, obviously, but Janik has moved up to 6th place, which means he would get 1 point. So that's a look at where we are right now if the race ended now. That was way harder to put together than I thought because...
For sure, some people hoping here it would end like this.
My goodness. It's going to be really interesting to see what happens. Yes, I said he has a point. I'm getting critiqued on the YouTube chat. I said he has a point. So here comes Mikola. Looks like he got a bit loose there. People on the chat are speculating about Pascal's ability to chill and take it easy. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
This YouTube chat is lately becoming like the Statler and Waldorf bench in
it is.
the theater.
Oh, look at that. There's one movement from Miller. Oh, my goodness. Ooh.
Well, basically, Miller just did exactly the same thing that Pascal had done before to Anders Nilsson. So, whoa.
So
close
things are
to losing
definitely,
the car
the
there.
gloves are definitely
Aerodynamic
off.
effects at play here. Those are very quick turns. Yeah, look at that. That's what David Jakes was basically waiting for. A bit of an error of Pascal when he overcooks the tires, because remember, these tires are very sensitive. If you stress them, you can go very quick, but at some point you have to back off and cool them. You're
Yeah, you
not
can't just
going
keep...
to be able to attack all the time here.
Yeah, you can't just keep attacking non-stop. You have to... Oh boy, here we go again. Mikola definitely... So we'll see what happens here. The other thing to consider as they're coming off this long turn is the fact that they...
Oh, Little Al has overtaken Ray Riddle.
Oh. All right, we'll see what happens. The other thing to consider is that there's dirty air coming off that corner.
Yeah, it was the main straight.
Oh no, Pascal spun out! Pascal spun the car! He's dropped to third place! My goodness, and that's gonna really heat up the tires. And it appears he has a flat. Yes, Pascal has a flat tire.
Ah, look at that.
I mean, oh my goodness. Let's take a look at a replay of this. It's a very significant development.
So much for his intentions of taking it easy.
Well, this is actually a similar thing that happened to Nilsson not long ago, right here. Well, no, actually, I take it back. It was the contact with the curb that caused it. The contact with the curb, and basically, yeah, it looks like his left front is...
Yeah, but he's leapt off to the curb, I think, due to aerodynamic effects of following the car in front. He should have been probably more to the inside.
So
yeah, he's limping to the pits.
Oh my goodness, there is much schadenfreude going on on the YouTube chat right now.
Yeah.
I think
whoa,
I think it's only natural that people would root for the underdog. So that might be what's going on here.
Yeah, they should be grateful. I mean, Pascal is basically spicing up the end of the championship for everybody. So
yeah, exactly. So yeah, he's now looking for an opportunity to slot into the pits here. There he goes.
Unfortunate for him is where it all happened, because he had to do the long way at slow speed to the pits. Whereas he could probably have adapted his strategy and do an early pit stop here if he had been close to the pit entry. Anyway, that's history now.
It definitely is.
Oh, and look at that. It just went, Little Al just went by, followed by Mike Olson. They seem to be having a small battle among them. Where's Ray Riddle? Ray Riddle is now in 10th position. 9th is Pascal after his pit stop. 8th is Mike Olson. 7th, Little Al. 6th, David Saber. 5th is Brian Jenny, now with clean air in front of him. Juha Boss in a great 4th position by now. Gabriele now, as we just mentioned, propelled to the podium. Good drive by him, steady there always. And then there's Jakes and Miller, and Jakes is now starting to have Miller in his own crosshairs.
Yeah, so things getting dicey now again for the lead, but this time it's a different cast of characters. It's the two people who most definitely are... they have the best shot to unseat Pascal. So if you're Miller and Jakes, this is a dream scenario. You have an excellent chance to make hay here and make the championship more exciting for everybody.
So Gabriele Del Piccolo is now 11 seconds behind the leader, and David Jakes, who are basically together.
Yeah.
But he's going quicker than both Miller and Jakes. Still some way to go, but he's going quicker. Maybe he was also holding off a bit, and now that he sees himself in third position and the head of the race is not so far away, he's actually starting to speed up.
True, yes.
It's starting to become heated between Mike Olson and Little Al there. Nice to see the traditional and epic Ferrari versus McLaren fight here.
looking also at this great battle between Slipinski and Janik for 5th place. So there's a bunch of good stuff going on here. Yellow flag in this corner. Not sure what that...
Jonathan just spun the car.
Oh.
Not,
boy.
Not the best thing to do here to reverse. Well,
Here comes Jakes. He's going for the lead. Going into the first turn.
Oof.
And he actually backed off there. Jakes had an opportunity to go by, but and it looked like he had a shot. Oh, my goodness. That second corner is proving to be one of the most dangerous spots. Because if you arrive there with a back marker in a less than fortunate spot, we've already seen what it can do to one car, but it almost happened again there to Miller. They were coming up to Matusek, and it was kind of awkward how they arrived at him. So people are going to have to be very careful. Historically, in real racing, that corner also produced some strange situations where Alio, I think, went off the track because he didn't see someone lapping him. And then, oh my goodness, Jakes runs wide. No, Jakes has spun. My goodness. These guys have got these cars trimmed out, I think.
Yeah, he didn't hit. He was very lucky not to hit anything. But he has lost a lot of ground now.
Yeah, so, well, he was lucky to get away with that.
And
to be
Gabriele,
honest,
who was already gaining ground of them, now will have David Jakes way closer. And that means if Gabriele is able to make contact with David Jakes, then they are both going to be engaged in their own battle, and that's going to be making Miller's life even easier.
Yeah, you can see... oh, my goodness. Let's see. I believe as Jakes is... no, Jakes is still second. There he is.
Second.
Yeah.
But the distance to Gabriele is now, let me see, only 8 seconds.
It's still a pretty big gap there, so it's not a dire situation.
Yeah, and of course Miller just went quicker in this last lap now that he doesn't have someone trying to overtake him behind.
So Pascal Mikola is not quite out of the picture yet. He's 9th right now. So if there is an attrition rate that develops, he could score a few points towards the end here.
Yeah, and he's already getting close to Little Al. Little Al, who was overtaken by Mike Olson. We missed that one, which is a shame. Is still in the replay if you catch it. Let's see how this happened.
Oh, yep. Olson got by. We missed it. I think it was
here. Little Al didn't have a good exit. And there goes the Ferrari airplane.
Interesting, because Olson actually got on the grass, too, as he was executing that.
And there's Pascal now right behind Little Al, looking for a place to overtake. Yeah, Little Al basically makes room for him, not going to interfere in the championship fight.
Yeah, that's probably the smart thing to do.
Oh, and Bruno Chacon is without rear wing.
Oh,
that's
goodness.
Low speed in the track. Now that's something...
Yeah, there he is. Look out. Janik's got to get around him and does so on the outside, but... and Richard Wilkes is out of the race, too. Wilkes is DNF'd. That's unfortunate because this is his home race. Yeah, Del Piccolo's distance to Jakes is about 10 seconds now, so the gap is actually opening up right now.
Bruno crawling there to the pits.
Yeah, that's really that's the worst walk you can do in a race car because it just it feels like it's interminable. Yuha is he's a very comfortable 4th right now. He's just having to handle up Jules Bouchard coming out of the last turn, which shouldn't be a problem. The best battle on the circuit right now appears... Well, Mikkel is now closing on Mike Olson for 7th. And little Al is settled back to 9th. And yeah, here comes Bruno. Oh my goodness, this is infuriating for him. I'm sure he's doing all he can just to get it back to the pits in one piece, and hopefully he won't cause any issues for anybody else. That's good. He's pulling over to the left-hand side to make room on the right side. And there's the leader coming through, his teammate. And there you see Jake's, the gap.
Well, what I think is worrying in the case of Bruno, I'm looking at his car and the steering wheel is completely bent. So even if he gets a new wing, it's likely going to be having some heavy suspension damage.
Unless they can repair some of that in the pits, in which case he would be several laps down. Del Piccolo arrives at a very strange moment, but manages to get by. Bruno doing the best he can to not be in people's way. And he's only got one more corner to go. Yellow flags will be waving all up and down the backside of the circuit, I'm sure, so people will know what's happening. Bruno's having a hard time just getting the car through that corner.
No, it's a safe place because everybody's like sliding to the outside of the turn. And he has been able to finally make it into the pits.
All right, finally he's in. He's going to be able to fix the car, hopefully, and get back out.
So Pascal is 7th now, and is already eyeing a points-paying position because David Sabre is in front of him.
Yep. Another yellow flag going into this corner. More people, that's Matusek. Matusek out of the race, it appears. He grabbed that LaRousse at the last moment, so he didn't really have a lot of practice in that car, I don't think. But here's Pascal now closing on Sabre, and this would be for a single point, 6th.
So Yates has meanwhile reduced the distance to Dave Miller to 3 seconds. He's driving quick and getting closer. And we'll see. Under 3 seconds now, but it remains to be seen. I don't think we have seen anybody stop yet. So it
No, we have not.
At least because there are many cars out of the race and we don't know what kind of strategy they had. But from the remaining ones, nobody has stopped, so they are all probably on medium tires.
And
they are only going to make one stop, which actually should not be that far away, around lap 35 or something like that.
And then with less fuel load, the tire wear is better in the second stint.
Yeah, what I'm wondering is, since Pascal had to do a very early stop, how that's going to affect his strategy, because I don't think his tires, whatever tires he put there, are going to last for the rest of the race. He's got still one stop to do, same as the others, so we'll see.
And Juha is, I'm sure, enjoying being in the top 5 here because he hasn't had too many scintillating results in this series yet. So.
Yeah, well, we'll see, because Pascal has already gone past David Sabre and is now, let me see, 6 seconds behind Brian Janik and 10 seconds behind Juha Boss. But going by the pace that he's able to manage now, I'm not sure that Juha's position is safe at this point.
The updating that graphic that I had earlier is proving to be a impossible chore in keeping the visuals going. So I'm going to do it the old-fashioned way with a pen and pencil, and I will report what the point situation is as we go. Fair enough?
And it seems that Bruno is still crawling there in the track. That car is unsafe, I'm afraid.
Yeah, that I guess I'm not. Oh goodness, Juha has a bit of a loose moment on the backside of the course. Thankfully, is able to keep the car going, and that's going to allow Janik to start to close in. And Jakes is now slowly reeling in Miller. It appears it looks like he's closer now than he was before, a little bit. Looking out the front of Miller's car here. I'm sorry, Jakes' car. Jake's got to be mindful of that dirty air that he's going to get when he gets close to... and we've already seen what happens when these cars get loose on this track. I guess grip is at a premium around here. Uh-oh, Yuha appears to have a problem. He's dropping through the field here. Let's see what...
Sorry, it's just burned the engine.
Yes, oh, Yuha's making his pit stop. That's what's going on. Yuha is the first to pit then for tires.
All right.
So, and here's another one in. Mike Olson is also in. So we're starting to see pit stops now. And we'll see how this affects everybody. It'll certainly figure into my tabulations. I'm going to hold off on them until the pit stops are over. But Ferrari mechanics not particularly quick right now. Maybe Olsen had some damage, but there they go. He's out of the race now, or out of the pit box. Mikola now right behind Brian Janik. This ought to be interesting. Is Janik going to let him go? Yes, he is. So Mikola's up to 4th place now. And the interesting...
was a nice comeback, although he's still 40 seconds behind the lead, 43 seconds.
Well, the interesting part here is that he's made a stop already. Albeit
he still has one stop to go.
Yeah, well, it'd be interesting. Like, what do you think he did in terms of tire choice? Did he choose a harder tire so that he won't have to stop again?
That could be the case.
Yeah.
Although I don't think that he prepared that before the race, and that wasn't in his plan to do such a long such a long stint. So he could maybe have put medium tires, which are the ones he would use for half the race, and hope that they cover also a longer distance, as is the case now, because he seems to be going fairly quick. Or maybe very soft tires in order to gain ground again.
That's another possibility. That's right. Jake's continuing on in 2nd place, and you can see now, yeah, absolutely, he's closing on Miller. So we could have a battle for the lead here before long, although if they're going to go to the pits, maybe it's academic.
Although I should say that I'm looking at the lap times, and Pascal is actually doing the same lap times as Miller and Yates. It's the rest who is going way slower. So I think that basically Pascal put mediums. He was going to do a race probably. He put whatever tires he had as in the first stint. And he's probably hoping for them to last till the end of the race.
Well, that'll be interesting towards the end if that's the case, because his car will be probably undrivable by the time he gets there. So, we have a pit stop indicator on the grid, on the screen there for David Jakes. So that would apparently mean that he's going to the pits. We'll see if Miller apparently is going to go another lap. So we'll keep an eye on Jakes here to see if he indeed ducks for the pits. The indicator has been turned off now, so I don't know. Maybe he's not going for the pits.
And I'm not sure if Mike Olson did his stop, but he's now in 10th position.
Mike Olson did his stop, yes.
Okay. Little is 2 seconds behind David Sauber. Again, another McLaren versus Ferrari battle. This one is for the 6th position, so something at play there. Not just the honor of being 1 position higher.
Yeah, that was interesting there because Jakes had his indicator on for going to the pits, and then he turned it off. So apparently he thought twice about going for the pits.
Well, you know that in this game the pit crew is notoriously pessimistic about your pit stops.
Oh yeah,
they
and
always
it's also
call you early.
They're also akin to the Windows paperclip. They'll pop up and go, "Hey, it looks like you need to make a pit stop." So
something like that.
Hey, it looks like you're writing a letter.
I think that Jakes, who is now a second behind Dave Miller, is basically, since they are both obviously on the same strategy, he's basically trying to match him and maybe overtake in the pits. I mean, not lose ground because Dave is going quick, but I see David is struggling with the car there. whatever tire choice he had, I don't think is allowing him to be comfortable, or at least not as much as Miller.
Mm-hmm.
Car is moving a lot.
Yeah,
Let's see
definitely.
If he dives for the pits.
Now
Yes,
he's going
he
for the
does.
pits, yes. Jakes makes his pit stop.
I think it was a wise call because his tires were not working that well. And
Yeah,
since we are in lap 33, we could expect that towards the end of the race he's also going to struggle again a bit, although since this time the fuel is not that much, maybe it's a balanced stint, but even so, these are 2 extra laps that he's going to do on these tires, and I think that's going to bite him somewhere.
Well, Del Piccolo, with that pit stop by Jakes, has moved up to second place.
Yes.
But, of course, he's going to have to stop, too. Some people are bringing up in the YouTube chat an interesting question. Did Miller burn his tires too much in this first stint? I don't know. I mean, if he did, I'm not seeing it because...
his pace is absolutely steady. I mean, he has been lapping like a clock in 122, except when he found lap cars, traffic, or whatever. And he is actually now in low 122, so his tires seem to be holding fine.
I'd say so. He goes on the inside of Bouchard here, takes the position, and he is now coming into the pits.
Okay, Little
so
Al
your
is
leader
now
in.
also in the pits, coming out.
Yep.
He did his stop. That puts him back behind Brian Janik and
he
Ryan
must have
Renault.
heard. He must have heard Angel May in his ear because Angel May just said, "Come on, Miller, pit," and then it was just mere seconds before he actually pitted. Even taking into account the YouTube delay. Now Miller's out of the pits, and Del Piccolo has gone into the lead. Del Piccolo obviously has led races before in this series. He led the Hungarian Grand Prix for a considerable amount of time, but unfortunately, Disco kept him from winning that race, and it went to Janik in the end. So Del Piccolo out in front once again. We'll see if he can... Now, you can see there that Miller is very close behind. So even if Del Piccolo makes some serious hay here, I doubt he's going to be able to keep Miller at bay. But order right now, as the pit stops are continuing, Del Piccolo leads, Miller in second, Jakes is third, Pascal Mikola is fourth, Juha Boss is fifth, Ray Riddall is sixth, so he's been moving up steadily. Brian Janik is down to seventh. He probably made a pit stop recently. Alberto Iquino is eighth. David Saber ninth, and Mike Olson 10th. So there's still a chance
Pascal
here.
is now 24 seconds behind the leader.
Yeah.
But all the cars in front of him, like Miller and Jakes, have pit, and he probably has to do another pit stop. And I say probably because he will likely tend to extend his tires till the end of the race, although that could bite him hard. We will see.
So the question now is, when will Del Piccolo make that stop?
He could maybe not do it. Maybe he has a very hard compound and he's going to make the whole race on them.
I don't know. The torque of that Ford engine puts less stress on those tires, so maybe he can stretch his pit stop out for a little longer.
He's now on lap 35, so he's in the window for the perfect pit stop half race. If he doesn't pit, I don't know. It's hard to think that he would want to pit later. Maybe he wants to do it in a single stint. We'll see.
Riding on board with Gabriel now. He's got a few cars that he's coming up to here to lap. There are currently 10 cars on the lead lap at this time. So the pace at the front has been fast and furious, and there's actually some action just in front of Del Piccolo here. It's Ray Riddall, who's in 10th place, and Bouchard, who's in 13th place. That's not a pass for position, but very soon Del Piccolo is going to have to deal with these two, and there's another car up front there too, John Team. Now this is the corner that I've been talking about, this one right here. This one causes a lot of problems. You can see how close you get to someone you're trying to overtake there. And if you do it at the wrong time, it can get really scary really fast. Heading back towards the left now. And we'll keep an eye, see if Gabriel goes for the pits at some point here. There goes Radal around John Team, who is in 11th place. That is a battle for position right there. So, and Team looks like he's going to let Del Piccolo by. So, and there's enough distance here between Team and Radal that I don't think there'll be a problem. And there's Miller. Miller's filtering through these cars with just as much aplomb as Del Piccolo is. So, if Del Piccolo's not going to make another stop, it may not have been the proper strategy, because it appears that Miller is definitely closing.
I see the icon in Gabriel Del Piccolo's car. He's driving for the pits now. No, he refused it.
Nope. Well,
but
now
that indicates that in his strategy there is a stop prepared.
Yes.
Because otherwise the game would not call him into the pits.
Hey, it looks like you need a pit stop.
Yeah, something like that. But look at that. Is Jake's hounding Dave Miller already?
Yeah,
he was
clearly
able to get the ground.
Clearly his tires are giving up the ghost at this point. Jake's is right there in third place, so we're right back with a 1-2-3 battle.
Catch up. That's what
look at that, and that's remarkable, to be honest, because Jake's has been shown to have an ill-handling car in some circumstances. Oh, this is interesting. They're coming up now on Radal.
There's a car sliding there in the back. That's Jonathan Atherkin.
Oh boy, I think Jonathan's
big slide there. Has been able to recover.
Poor Jonathan is struggling with that Lotus so far. All right, so I would be very surprised if Del Piccolo didn't go for the pits this time.
We'll see. I mean, his car is handling quite well. Maybe not very quick, but he's handling well.
Oh, he's going to stay out. Now look at this. Here comes Miller, and he's got a good toe. Look at Del Piccolo. He's got one move there. No,
he's
dude.
Not really that slow. I mean,
no, but he made his one move there, and Miller is now on the inside again. So
Miller needs to be careful here. He's now in a very good position to score points and keep the championship open. So
yeah, Del Piccolo could be a spoiler in some way here. If he's not careful, Miller will.
No, he's a great driver. I'm sure he's not
Miller
going to cause any bad situation.
Well,
it's Miller doesn't get too anxious. But look at that, right. He's moving smoothly.
Yeah, moving to the side. Miller retakes the lead. So well played by Dave. And now David Jakes is going to try to handle up the green. Although, look, there's Del Piccolo going back on the inside, but there's not enough room there. So
no, he's not going to pass. He's basically heading for the pits in the next one.
Probably, yeah.
I think that he's in his mind racing now Pascal. Because Pascal
probably right.
Could threaten his podium at this point.
Jake's better be on the ball here because
people is heading in the pits. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Almost had a repeat of what happened in real life there between Berger and Patrese.
Indeed.
In comes Del Piccolo for his stop. And he may get out ahead of Mikula here. Let's see.
He's in the pits, but Mikula is already in the main straight.
Yeah, no, he's not.
Piccolo is exiting now. Mikula just overtakes him.
Now. Oh, goodness, very close. No, Del Piccolo gets out ahead of Mikula. Wow.
Like I said, he was racing mentally with Pascal, although Pascal either has a pit stop to do or will have destroyed tires by the end of the race.
All right.
So it's going to be very interesting to see the battle between these two.
Well, these two are not on each other's Christmas card list. There is that to consider. And if you're Pascal, it might be helpful to not think about that right now, because you got to, again, Miller is racing Pascal, and he needs to think about he's racing with Miller. He needs to think about the larger picture. here. So this definitely spices up what has already been a very interesting Portuguese Grand Prix. Yeah, I really wish we knew exactly what compound these guys were on. It would make our jobs a lot easier. But we for sure know that Del Piccolo's on fresh rubber that's coming up to temperature. And we know that Mikola is on old tires. Although, look at this. Mikola tucked right up behind him now. Del Piccolo makes his one move.
Pascal is going to overtake him sooner or later.
There he goes. He's looking up the inside. Oh, there's contact. Del Piccolo.
Yeah, well, the Piccolo moved too much. He went on left, right, and left again. That's not exactly the best thing to do. So he basically just caused this situation.
Yeah.
But in any case, I think that Pascal is going to make it through. Del Piccolo, he knows it. He basically wants to deny Pascal as many clean laps as possible because he knows that Pascal either has to stop again or we have very worn tires on the end of the race.
Okay, he makes a move there.
Yeah. Now.
Yeah, well, Gabriel's got to watch it because, like you said, oh my goodness, there's a huge blow up back there. Somebody it's Mike Olsen. Mike Olsen's out of the race. The Ferrari has exploded. His teammate is still running 8th, so there's still a chance for the Tifosi to be happy about something. But Del Piccolo here making his car as wide as he can, trying to fend off. He's got a little bit of a bigger gap here than he did before. Here he goes to the inside once again, protecting the inside.
Then he goes to the outside. Yeah, that's the same thing he did before.
Yeah. So how do you analyze that tactic?
I'm not sure if he's actually moving a bit too much.
Well, I mean, I think in that case, there's not an overtake in progress.
Yes, that's so you cannot do that once that the other car is in striking distance, but that's what happened in the lap before. So,
well, we'll have to keep a close eye because,
and you can see it here when the cars are matched in pace. What we had been talking about at the start of the race, there is a clear overtaking spot at the end of the straight. But other than that, the back part of the back section of the track is not easy at all.
Mm-hmm.
You don't get enough momentum to overtake before finding another corner. Some of them are also quick, and that means you lose a lot of aerodynamic downforce because of following the other car. But the key is here in this long turn coming to the straight. And I know that Gabriele is very fond of low wing setups. He has very good driving ability and is able to cope with low wings. And it's showing because the Tyrrell is completely unable to get even close in the straights. I mean, either he's very close and then the slipstream works a bit, or there's nothing he can do. So yeah, like I said, I don't know, maybe the Jordan could be slightly quicker with more wings over the whole lap, the elapsed time, but this is allowing him to defend brilliantly, at least with cars like the Tyrrell.
Yeah, absolutely.
Jakes is meanwhile, we should say, 1 second behind Dave Miller, following him steadily, but not really looking like interested in attacking, just putting a distant pressure so that Miller is forced to keep a good rhythm and can't make any error, but not risking. Jake's not risking himself with maneuvers or pressuring too much an accident, because I think that he had already enough with the scare moment that he had previously.
Well, would you like to hear what the points would be if the race ended now?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, if the race ended right now, Mikola would be in the lead with 63 points. He's picking up 3 right now by being in 4th. Miller would be second with 48 points on his 10 points for the win. Jake's would be third with 37 points, and that's with the 6 that he would score for second. Then next is Del Piccolo, who enters the top 5 with 4 points. That brings him to a total of 30.
So 15 points between Pascal and Dave heading into the last 3 races.
Janik would also stay in the top 5, more or less, with getting 1 point, because that would tie him for 5th place with Coxon with 28. So it definitely does keep the championship alive, the current situation.
It does.
So seeing as things have calmed down to some degree here, well, here's Saber in 8th place, and he's about to be put a lap down by Miller, but Jakes is right behind Miller now. So actually, things are not calm at the front here. Jakes is definitely putting pressure on our leader.
Yeah, he's getting closer.
Not Miller time just yet.
Well, Del Piccolo has been able to buy himself some room between Pascal and him. I'm not sure if it's Pascal's tires are starting to give up the ghost or whatever, but Del Piccolo must be delighted to be able to defend his position right now.
Coming off the corner here, we'll see how much this Judd engine has for the Renault. Of course, taking into account the slipstream. You can see there's a little bit of closure there.
And Brian Janik, who is 6 seconds behind, 6 to 7 seconds behind Juha Boss, but is going much quicker at this moment. So we'll see if this develops also into a fight for the 5th position in some laps.
Could very well. So actually, we have 11 cars on the lead lap now after all this. Or sorry, no, hang on, 7 cars on the lead lap. I misread the chart. Little Al being the last one. Jake's definitely looks like he's closing here. Of course, he's not going to be able to do much with it back here. He's got to wait until he gets to the main straight to try something. That's really the best place to pass here.
Yeah, he's there trying to get a good exit in the slipstream. This could work for him.
It could. You can hear that Renault engine just ahead. Jakes is going to pop out. Yes. Is he going to take the position? No, sir. Miller on the other. Oh, my goodness.
Dave using till the last inch of the track.
Oh, my goodness. Very beautifully done there. Great defense by Miller. Totally clean, totally fair, and totally skilled.
Yeah, although Jakes seems to have learned the trick on how to do it. So it wouldn't surprise me much if we see it happen again next lap.
Oh, yeah, we got to stick with this because I think it's very definitely possible.
This is the thing that is demoralizing here, because you have to wait the whole lap again to try it, and you only have that chance.
Maybe that's why I think that's why this track was not a favorite of people, because it's just like you have that one chance and the rest of the time you're just waiting for it again.
Okay, and Pascal is on the move again. He seems to have cooled his tires and is now getting close to Gabriele. We need to keep an eye on that too.
All right, something else to keep an eye on. Looks like Jakes has got a little bit more room here, although maybe he'll just build momentum as they come off the corner. Yeah, he's got more distance here, so I think Miller is safe for this lap.
Bit of a complicated situation here for Gabriele because he's coming to the main straight behind right Riddle.
Oh, yeah, it is.
He now has the slipstream that's going to save him because if Pascal had been closer, well, that could have been tighter.
Yep, Del Piccolo overtakes Radal, puts him a lap down. Relative to him, so to speak. Mikola goes for the inside of Radal, and Radal sees him, makes room. And now Mikola can resume his pursuit of Gabriel. So, do you think this is a good time for the trivia question?
I don't know. Jakes is now again putting some pressure on Dave
Oh,
Miller.
yeah, maybe it's not. Okay. Oh, my goodness. Jake's, he's struggling with that car for sure. The back end almost got away from him. Again, he's on the grass. My goodness. Be careful.
Okay, now is the time for the trivia question.
All right. Trivia question we will go to now. So everybody put your thinking caps on. The trivia question is, Alain Prost and Nigel Mansell share the record for the most Portuguese Grand Prix wins with 3 each. Who is next on this list with 2 wins?
Pascal Mikula spins.
Oh, no!
Yes.
That's not an answer to the question. Oh, my goodness. Well, it looks like he's got more trouble with the car. Let's see. Here's a replay of what happened here. Doesn't seem to have an issue there. Oh, he got loose. And did he actually clout the barrier? No, he was very lucky to not hit anything, but I think he's punctured a tire again.
Again? Oh, my goodness.
So he's running through Pirellis like they're going out of style. Yeah, he's definitely going to have to come in now.
He's in the pits now? Yeah, this time it wasn't that bad in that he was closer to the pits. But this is a long pit stop if it's only tires.
No, he's exiting now. Well, that's going to be a difficult situation for Pascal. I mean, that sends him down to 4th. Well, he actually is going to emerge in 4th place, which is surprising. He needed to make a stop anyway, but I'm sure he would have liked to have done that stop in his own terms rather than what just transpired.
No, and it's amazing the big gap that there is still to Juha Boss. I mean, the lead of the race, the head of the race, the top 5, they have been going like mad. Absolutely.
Yeah, the pace has been ridiculous at the front. And Janik still hanging on in 6th. Little Al 7th, so if there's more attrition, Little Al could find himself in the points once again. All right, let's try the trivia question one more time.
Yeah.
All right. Once again, here we go. Trivia question is, Alain Prost and Nigel Mansell share the record for most Portuguese Grand Prix wins with 3 apiece. Who is next on this list with 2 wins? Is it A, Ayrton Senna, B, Gerhard Berger, or C, Sterling Moss? What do you think?
Well, I think that Berger did not win a lot in Formula 1. And Stirling Moss, I don't remember him racing much here in Estoril, so I go with Ayrton Senna.
Wrong!
Oh, no.
The answer is Sterling Moss. 1958 and 59.
Okay. So how many times won Ayrton Senna here? 1? None?
I don't know. I forget, but...
Then how do you know the Sterling Moss won more?
Because I looked it up. I just don't remember what the stat was for Senna. But I know Moss was the right answer, okay? You can go write the next question if you want. If you're gonna give me crap about how I set them up on
Sorry,
TV.
it's my training as lawyer, you know.
I know. Your counter arguments. That's true. Okay. All right. Anyway, back to the race, and you can see there that Dave Miller has overtaken Little Al. And yeah, Little Al's got about an 8-second gap between himself and Janik, so if he wants to get that extra point, he's going to have to get on his horse. Boss is 5th, of course. Mikola soldiering on in 4th place. Del Piccolo now well clear. Jakes is still in shouting distance of Miller, but it appears that when he gets close, that car doesn't want to handle well. It slides a lot. Probably dirty air contributing to that, I would think, Alberto?
Yeah, I think that David needs to have very low wings in order to be able to follow the Williams, and this is at some point obviously, well, taking its toll.
It's interesting too because the two fastest corners here, or all the fast corners here, are right-hand turns. The oval racer in me wonders if there's any benefit to setting up the car to do right-hand turns better than left-hand turns.
I don't know. It's hard to tell. I know that Mario Andretti brought that to Formula One and it worked for him. But I have no idea if they did that in 91 or not.
Like, I could see that working at a track like Enna-Pergusa.
Oh, yeah.
That's
basically an oval with chicanes.
Basically, yeah.
So it's Brian Jennings now 2 seconds behind Juha Boss. And the leaders at lap already Little Al, so it's only the top 6.
Yeah,
in the lead lap.
It'll be interesting to see if and Miller's had Janik has had a pretty quiet race overall. I guess this track is not particularly to his liking, but he's hanging in there, and he'll come away with points if he just keeps his nose clean. But he may come up with more because he's closing up now.
He may come up with Juha's points.
Yeah, he may.
He's now in a McLaren sandwich, although Little Al is still far away from him. But let me check those lap times. So Juha Boss did the last lap time. He had a very slow lap, probably with an incident 2 laps ago. And the last lap was 1:23.8. In the case of Brian Janik, he did 1:22.7, which is clearly quicker, at least for that lap. And Little Al also did a 1:22.7. So they are both closing in on Juha. We'll see. Juha goes to the start-finish line now.
Mikola just set the fastest lap of the race, by the way. His name flashed up in purple on the board, so he's clearly not leaving anything on the table.
So yeah, Juha has sped up also and has matched the times from Brian Janik and Little Al, even improved them a bit slightly, 1:22.685. So he is very much aware of the threat behind him. Although Brian's smelling the blood in the water and also has sped up.
Yep. You can clearly having that carrot in front of you is very helpful at times. Something else we should point out is that David Saber is in 8th place here. And not that we would wish ill will on any of the people in front of him, but if something goes wrong, he could end up with points, finally, in this series. As we got less than 20 laps to go.
And I'm wondering if Pascal is hot lapping because he thinks that he can still catch up with Gabriele.
That would be the only reason, really. I mean,
well, maybe also not to lose concentration, put pressure on Gabriele from a distance. I don't know. It's obvious that Pascal has now very good tires. and it's going to go very quick.
Coming up now on Jonathan.
35 seconds between them. So more than 1 second per lap, I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah, it's true. He's not going to catch him unless something goes wrong with...
Pascal is lapping in 120s, which is absolutely mind-boggling. It's very quick. But Gabriele is also doing the same, 120.7 last lap. So
yeah,
no chance, no, to catch up here, I think.
So it's the opposite. It's all attack, no chance.
And Juha Boss seems to have responded to Brian Janik's threat. He's going quicker and quicker and quicker, from 122.6 to 122.1 down to 121.7. So he has clearly sent a message to Brian Janik there.
Yes. Because Brian, who has just been lapped by the leader, he is now in between Jakes and Miller, but he's moving aside now, I think, to let Jakes by. Oh my goodness! Well, Brian, you wanted to be helpful, but not that helpful. Dude.
Oh, he's in the gravel. So...
I know. I'm like, come on, man.
There goes Little Al.
Oh, Little Al has gone into the points. Now, that's dangerous right there because there was no air flowing through those radiators, and Brian is going to have to be...
to short shift it now until the car picks speed.
That's unfortunate. I think he was just trying to be helpful there and just got into the gray and wasn't expecting the lack of grip out there. And Little Al running in 6th, 1 point.
You go.
The Alcoy cheering section erupts with approval. Depending on how your persuasion, if you're a Catalan or if you speak Spanish, there's 2 different spellings. That was one of the things I found so interesting going to Spain. I hadn't expected to see 2 spellings of every city name on the signs, but of course, I mean, you see stuff like that in other parts of the world. You see English and, actually, you would see English and French in other parts of Canada, but not in Quebec itself. It's French or nothing there. So all Little Al has to do, really, is just hang on, and he should be able to pick up that 1 point, because now Janik is... that's an 8-second gap almost between himself and Janik. So.
Yeah, and Juha Boss is having to slow down a lot now to let David, Jakes, and Dave Miller go by safely. And this must have put him also closer to Little Al, I guess.
And how often have we been able to say this during the series? 2 McLarens in the top 6. That doesn't happen too often, at least not in this championship.
Mm-hmm.
Usually it's either one or the other doing well.
So it's basically half the main street between both of them, between Juha and Little Al.
I think Jakes is basically he may be saving his tires for a last ditch effort at the end here, but it certainly seems like, and you said it best earlier, Miller has been driving with the precision of a watch, or a clock. He rattling off lap after lap and not losing his cool. I think, I coined the term, or the nickname Detroit Demon for my friend Brian Janik. I'm starting to think we should consider calling Dave the Iceman, because he doesn't seem to get rattled very easily by this stuff. Or at least
Ice Miller.
Miller. Actually, there was a Miller Lite Ice offered once. Ice beer, which was ice brewed. So there you go. That's what he should be drinking later. As David Jakes gets on the dirt there, loses a bit more time. The gap is a second now. My goodness.
Yeah, he can hang on there, but being able to to overtake is, well, it's nearly impossible.
Well, it looks like the top 6 are going to finish, apart from, assuming that nothing crazy happens, it looks like this is the way they're going to finish.
Well, I don't know. Little Al is going about 1 second per lap quicker than you have us at this point. That's still some distance between them, but...
Yeah, so once again, if the race ended right now, Mikola would be in front with 63 points, Miller with 48, Jakes would have 37, Del Piccolo would have 30, Coxon 28, and Janik would have 27 because he lost that 1 point just now after that incident. So from a viewing point perspective, that's great because it makes Spain your home track and Little Al's home track. It'll make that race that much more interesting. I don't know, are you going to try to secure a car for that race, Alberto?
I don't know. I have a very busy real life right now and I'm unable to train, so I wanted to maybe have a go at one race, but it's going to be hard. I don't know. We'll see.
Well, you'll be able to cheer your son on then.
Yeah.
All right, so before long here, we're going to get to a point where it's 10 laps to go. Oops. So let's go really quickly through what's coming up at ISO, since some people may not have seen this. They tuned in late. But next week we go back to IndyCar racing. Turning left, it's the Tony Bettenhausen 200 from the Milwaukee Mile, also known as Wisconsin State Fair Park. That's Sunday, October 4th. Green flag at 2000 CET. I believe Jonathan will be broadcasting that one. And then the following Sunday, we have a bit of a surprise for everybody, unless you were looking at Facebook earlier. 1980 BMW M1 Pro Cars at the Oostenrijk Ring. That's the 6th round of the Lucas Vidra Trophy. Sunday, October 11th, qualifying begins at 2000 CET. I know that's something that everyone's going to enjoy a lot. Then, the following Sunday, the 18th, we go back to Formula One racing for the next round in this championship, round 14. The Spanish Grand Prix from Catalunya.
No, it's actually Jerez.
Are you sure? I thought it was the... No, I thought Jerez would be another series that you're probably thinking about.
Okay, right. No, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry, it was a lapsus.
Yes. All right, no problem. And then the Japanese Grand Prix will be the first race that will run in November, if I'm right. So that's a look at what's coming up here at International Sim Racing Organization.
Yeah, it's Catalonia, Japan, and Australia.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm sure Little Al is really happy right now, because you've said before that he's busy with his studies as well. So, and he's also having to deal with the whole remote situation, I'm sure. So, but with the limited time he has to practice, I'm sure he's happy and pleased as Punch with 6th.
Oh yeah, he is.
Mikola's still soldiering on here. Del Piccolo's in 3rd, Jake's in 2nd, and he's still right there, like within shouting distance of Miller in case anything goes wrong. So kudos to Jakes for keeping up the pressure and not throwing in the towel.
So since the top 4 haven't moved positions since you last called the points table, I assume we are in the same situation, so that would be 15 points between Dave Miller and Pascal Mikula heading into the last 3 races.
It would be, yes. Which is a lot smaller of a gap than we would have thought. I mean, this is a dream scenario for Miller. Almost. I mean, it puts Jakes within some striking distance, although much less likely. He would really need huge calamities to befall Pascal. But yeah, a 15-point gap going into the last 3 races is definitely nothing to sneeze at. That's there's a potential for a swing there to occur if something goes wrong. And we now have 9 laps to go in the race as Miller crosses the line. Yeah, really a beautiful race by Miller. Overall, I mean, there's not much more to say about it than that. Jake's also driving very well in a car that, frankly, does not seem easy to drive. Or compared to, I mean, Miller's by comparison looks like it's on rails.
Yeah,
And,
no doubt. I mean, Jake's has had to go to a very extreme setup to be competitive. So, and it shows at this point.
And Del Piccolo. It's a little unfortunate what happened to Mikola earlier, because it would have been kind of neat to see Del Piccolo and Mikola duke it out towards the end, but might have provided some fireworks. But in any case, I think Mikola is probably counting his lucky stars that he's able to get out of this race with 3 points. Because if he didn't finish, then he'd be only looking at a 12-point lead going into Spain.
Yeah. Yeah, and with the Williams being so strong, it's certainly not something that would be comfortable towards the end of the year.
Mm-hmm. Poor Brian, he's soldiering on in 7th place. Too bad it's he's going to lose a point there, but to his credit, he keeps going. And here's Saber in 8th. Looks like he's not going to score points, but it's nice to see one of the Ferraris finish for a change. And interesting, Ray had a pretty quiet race. There were instances where he was further up the order, but I think that was more due to the pit cycle that was going on. Perhaps. 10th, Johnny Aces. So after having a rocky start, he's going to finish in the top 10 for Lotus. Oh my goodness. Miller just came off the final corner with a huge wiggle. So I don't know. Maybe his tires are starting to give him issues. They're coming up to Jonathan now to put him another lap down. So we'll have to keep a close eye and see what happens as they overtake him. Actually, Jake's looks like he's closer at this point to the leader, Dave Miller. So
yeah, he's a bit.
Yeah, he is. He is, absolutely.
He's probably at this point a bit demoralized, because all the situations where he has tried to overtake, to be close, to be more aggressive, the result has always been missing the barrier by a tiny hair. So I think he will be reluctant to go into such risks again.
I don't know. He's pretty close.
Okay. Right. He has nothing to lose, but
yeah.
Maybe he wants to surprise Miller with a very strong attack and change of rhythm towards the end of the race. I don't know. One thing is for sure, if he doesn't push Miller, there is no chance that Miller will be making any error. So
no attack, no chance.
Yeah.
All right, well, he's not quite close enough to get a toe here, I don't think, but I do think, Miller's car, that squirrely bit that I saw, that's one of only like maybe 2 or 3 times I've seen his car get loose in this race. So I think it's a pretty strong, that might be a negative omen. We'll see. He does close up quite a lot here under braking, but of course that's the accordion effect that you get when you're, and then of course it opens back up again. To answer, Peter Hlavik is asking about the M1. The thread goes up immediately following this race, for your information.
Although the entry list, I think it's
M1.
Is it locked or is it instant?
It'll be locked for a day.
Okay.
Per normal. I mean, the funny part is it really doesn't matter because the cars are all the same. But I guess it does give people who are on the fence about running it a chance to test.
Yeah, and maybe, well, if we got so many people less in this Formula One race, there could not be enough cars for everybody, because I'm even thinking of picking one. I really love them so much.
I don't know. I'm on the fence. I'm not sure if I want to run it or not. Another car here that they're going to lap. I believe this is Bouchard in 11th place just ahead here. It's funny that gear shifting on the Judd sounds like a soda machine.
Yeah.
When it downshifts.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Bouchard just ahead. So
wastegate.
Yeah, it's the wastegate. Well, no, wait. These cars are normally aspirated. Do you still have a wastegate?
Yeah, therefore, it sounds as if it had a wastegate.
Okay, now look at this. He's definitely in the toe. So that little delay there. Miller moves to the right. Defensive posture. Here comes Jakes down the outside. Is he going to take the position? Miller has the inside line. No, Jakes stays in second place, but he's counterattacking on the inside. We have a battle for the lead with only a few laps to go in the Portuguese Grand Prix.
Nice one there. Dave benefiting from the extra grip of the Williams. Very frustrating for David Yates here.
Struggling with the car there as he gets close to Miller. That dirty air, I think.
And another interesting development is that because Juha had to make way for Gabriele, who was lapping him, Little Al has now been able to close a lot more and is nearly in striking distance.
So what was a foregone conclusion is now a little bit more interesting at the front here. Jakes probably has another couple of shots here. As they come by this time, there will be 6 laps, 69, 70, and 71 to go. 3 laps to go as they cross the line now. Miller goes to the inside to protect the line. Jakes drifts out, but I think he will have difficulty again. He's going for the cutback as... No, but Miller is just able to stay ahead of him there, and I think, again, it's down to the horsepower versus the Judd.
Oh my goodness, and also big drama in the McLaren team because Little Al is getting very close to the team leader.
Look at this.
Which is Juha Boss. And we'll see how this pans out towards the end of the race. But Juha was going a bit slower. I don't know, maybe his tires are worn out. But look at that, it's visible how
it is very visible. Yeah, Little Al's definitely catching Juha hand over fist. So we got 2 battles to watch here.
Oh, and Jake's now trying it on. Oh my goodness, we have 2 battles going on.
Oh goodness, look out, look out! I was thinking of making a sizzle reel for the end of the championship just to show some of the more exciting moments. And
we really need one of those picture-in-picture images.
We do. We need picture-in-picture in AMS. We don't have that. That would be helpful. All right, but look at him. You can see the rear wing on the right-hand side of the shot there, so you can see how close he is.
Everything he can, very close there in the main straight.
Here they come. Miller on the inside does his one move.
That's going to make it.
Maybe no. Miller defends the inside beautifully. My goodness. So there's 2 laps to go.
Whoa,
this is...
Juha was nearly losing it coming out of the turn.
Look at this.
Really
Here comes little Al.
Under attack.
Little Al is now in a prime position, although I don't think he's going to get him here. It's going to have to be on the next lap, perhaps. But oh, look at that. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. Little Al definitely misjudged the closure rate there. That would have been a disaster. Ron Dennis would have...
Earlier, because it's
oh, my goodness.
He has very warm tires.
Yeah.
Look at that, how he slides up.
Yeah, I know. Ron Dennis is pulling what little hair he has out of his head right now.
And Yates going for it again. Power sliding out of the corner. He seems to be that close, but unable to overtake Dave Miller.
All right. As they say in NASCAR. Oh, Jakes loses it. Yeah. It's probably going to cost him a shot. But we're now starting the final lap of the Portuguese Grand Prix. Yeah, that probably is going to be all she wrote for that battle, because that one loose moment he had coming through the final corner basically took away the shot. The only shot he's going to have is if Miller makes some kind of a mistake. Meanwhile, here's the McLaren battle coming down the straight, and little Al is very well placed here. Those cars look pretty well spent. They're swirling around. Here comes little Al. He's in the slipstream. And is he going to pop out here? Juha taking the defensive posture, going into the first turn, and little Al stays behind him. There's a chance, I think, that this is going to, well, I don't know, because Juha's pace is rather inconsistent on the backside here, as little Al having another look. Janik closing hand over fist behind these two. So, little Al gets loose. Janik might have a shot here at 6th place. Oh my goodness. And there's slight contact there.
With a very small time to go.
Good grief. And Jakes is right with Miller again. Jakes has another shot here up the inside. My goodness, they were so close. There might have been some contact there, but I think it's probably over. Oh my goodness, look at Jakes. He's loose. They're coming to the line. Riddle is in the middle there. Don't be confused. And that's it. That's all she wrote. Miller wins the Portuguese Grand Prix. What an exciting finish. Del Piccolo is going to finish in 3rd. As he crosses the line.
Really exciting three-way battle here. Let's
look
see
at this.
What happens.
Oh my goodness.
They are coming now to the main straight.
They are. Juha
coming out, losing traction.
Little Al
there.
losing traction.
Little Al there.
Coming to the end. Here comes.
Minardi.
Oh goodness. Here go. Very, very close. And they're going to finish exactly the way that they were on the track. But my goodness. Very close. Juha 5th. Little Al 6th. And Janik 7th. Oh man. What an exciting end of the race. Well, Jakes gave it everything he had.
Good round of showers that have been earned today.
Yeah, well, Jakes gave it everything he had, I think. Had an excellent shot at possibly it's one of those situations where you just don't want to leave anything on the table, and they certainly put on a really good show for us, no question about it.
Yeah, they really did. Well, I think that's been a really fantastic race. Who says that you can see good racing at Estoril?
Well, they certainly proved us wrong today. As
we're probably wrong. I'm sorry, but I have to quit now. I have some housekeeping and things to do. So happy always to broadcast with you, and
yes.
People stay tuned for the next races. We'll see you all here. Good night.
Yes, I'm going to have to take off too. Good night to you, Alberto. Thank you for your thank you for all the expert commentary, and we'll see you all on the next broadcast. Thanks so much for watching, everybody.